I set out to create a documentary in appreciation of the Australian Indigenous culture. Yeah. But in doing so, I realised just how little I knew. How did I not know about Neville Bonner, the first Aboriginal senator?
I worry for my children and my grandchildren. I worry that what has proven to be a stable society, which now recognises my peoples as equals, is about to be replaced.
The frontier war warriors, stolen wages, and cyanide poisoning. But what about the history of our own country? How accurate is it?
The truth of the settlement of this country has been the cost Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have worn, and we should recognise that as the frontier conflicts as war. Massacres around this country that took place, the Myall Creek massacre, and there was famous Bathurst War out there. Australia's got to come to terms with its past.
But none more so who has inspired me than my grandmother, Nora Peris, a proud Gidja woman. She was torn from her mother's arms and lived on the mission of Mullabulla in the East Kimberley. A river separated her and her traditional Aboriginal mother, who was still living on country. She used to always say they were close, so close yet so far. When the Second World War hit, the kids were released from the mission, and for 2 years she walked and lived off the harsh Eastern Kimberley land. These conditions and her will to survive shaped her.
We continued to steal Aboriginal children right up into the 1970s, meaning some of those children would only be in their 50s today, still living with the trauma inflicted upon them.
How dare you? How dare you?
We apologise for the laws and policies of successive parliaments and governments that have inflicted profound grief, suffering and loss on these our fellow Australians. We apologise.
To get over it, just get over it.
Indignity and degradation.
Unemployment, health.
This Jew dying in a jail.
Suicide.
They took our money.
Despair and hopelessness.
Mr Ward dying in a
Domestic
day
violence,
race.
Discrimination, intergenerational trauma.
We can't get over it. We found we were the only country in the world that empowered our federal parliament to make laws based on race. As a matter of fact, you find it pretty hard to find any constitution that even mentions the word race.
Our constitution must reflect the Australian nation that we want to be in the 21st century.
Let us work together on the real issues.
I am sorry that it took researching for this documentary to know more about what was inflicted upon the nation's first people. I'm sorry that these historical facts and more are not taught within our schools. I'm sorry that the names of radical leaders in other countries seem to be more infamous than those within our own historical stories. I'm sorry that we have come so far, yet still have so far to go before we remove racism and discrimination from our society. I'm sorry that you have had to fight for so long alone to be integrated into a society that doesn't understand.
Most people would have looked at an Aboriginal girl from the Territory, where the statistics of alcohol abuse, youth suicide, domestic violence, imprisonment rates and substandard education point to every reason why I should not succeed. But I was determined to be successful. And yes, I am a product of that history, and I continue to live in a society whereby the odds are stacked against Aboriginal people. Aboriginal Australians are symbolic of triumph over adversity. We represent knowledge and wisdom held in land and country. Because in our hearts we know that we do not own Mother Earth. The earth owns us.
We are so blessed to live in a country with such a rich cultural background. The rituals and practices of the nation's first people are truly magnificent. Their acknowledgement to country, which we are lucky to call home, their culture is rich with spirituality, music, art and dance. Thank you for allowing me to have a yarn and for sharing your stories with me, for educating me and allowing my appreciation and wonder of your culture to grow.
Let us solve those problems which haunt my people. The problem of land, of health, unemployment, of the despair and hopelessness which leads even to suicide. Let us unite this country, not divide it ever.